The following BLTV program is brought to you by O'Flaherty Law. Please enjoy.
Welcome to Learn About Law. My name is Kevin O'Flaherty from O'Flaherty Law, and today we're going to talk about prenuptial agreements for millennials. So let's first talk about what a prenup is, and then we'll discuss why it might be particularly beneficial for millennials. So a prenup is an agreement between two people that are anticipating getting married. It's called a prenuptial agreement. And it basically spells out how one, some, or all of the issues that may come up in a divorce are going to be handled. And courts will uphold the agreements of the parties in a prenup if the parties get divorced. They do retain the ability to modify anything that pertains to children, so child support and child custody, but as it pertains to the division of assets or spousal maintenance, courts will generally abide by the agreement of the parties. So why do people get prenups? One is that it simplifies the divorce process. A divorce, everybody probably knows someone who's gone through a costly and messy divorce, and it basically ruins a couple years of their lives, and it costs them a whole bunch of money, and it doesn't have to be that way. The reason that divorce can sometimes cost a lot of money is because the parties can't agree on issues surrounding asset division or spousal maintenance or child support. And so they have to litigate. They have to go to trial, and they have to present evidence and do depositions, and that can take a year and cost a lot of money. However, if you have a prenuptial agreement, you can remove a lot of those issues from the table, and a simple divorce can be very inexpensive and take less than a month. So a prenuptial agreement basically ensures that if you do get divorced, it's going to be simple. It's like an insurance policy. When you get an insurance policy on your house, you're not anticipating that your house is going to burn down. You don't think that's going to happen. But if it does, you don't want to be stuck in a terrible position where you're having to buy a whole new house without any help. Same for a prenup. You're not anticipating that you're getting divorced. But if it is going to happen, a prenup can ensure that the divorce is not going to be financially crushing for both parties and that you're protected. So another reason that people get a prenup is if one of the parties has some wealth that they are trying to protect. So maybe there's a family business that they don't want divided, that they've worked on their whole lives before they met their future spouse. Maybe there's an inheritance, or they've just worked hard to accumulate wealth their whole lives, and they don't want it divided 50-50 if the marriage doesn't work out. There may be a disparity in wealth between the two parties, and one party doesn't want to be on the hook for paying spousal maintenance after being married for a year or two if the marriage doesn't work out. So sometimes this can be an impediment to marriage. People can date for years and years and years rather than getting married because one of the parties doesn't want to be contractually bound to split up all their assets if the marriage doesn't work out. So this is a fear that can be a roadblock to marriage. Well, having a prenuptial agreement can remove that roadblock and allow the parties to get married without the fear that any disparity in wealth will cause a problem. So again, this isn't an anticipation that you're going to get divorced. It can kind of clear the way and say, if we get divorced, I get to keep my family business. And if both parties agree to that and that's fair, then that can actually facilitate the parties actually getting married. So why should millennials get a prenup as opposed to everybody else? A prenup can be helpful to just about anybody, whether there's a wealth disparity or not, because it will make sure that a divorce isn't ugly and messy and costly. But millennials are getting prenups at a higher rate than any previous generation, and probably the reason for that is they're getting married later in life than previous generations. So our grandparents' generation, a lot of people just got married right out of high school. Now in the people in the millennial generation are getting married in their 30s, sometimes 40s, sometimes later. And that gives them a lot of time to forge their own way before they meet the person that they're going to get married and accumulate a financial position for themselves and maybe start a business, maybe accumulate real estate, maybe accumulate wealth. And so now when people get married, they're bringing something of their own to the table in a way that they weren't 50 years ago. And when you bring something of your own to the table and get married, you're putting that in jeopardy if you get divorced. So that's why it's even more important than in previous generations to make sure that people understand. It's not necessarily even protecting that. It's understanding in advance how you're going to deal with that if the marriage doesn't work out. another reason it's important for millennials in particular is that because they're getting married later in life and they've had a chance to accumulate wealth, there's larger and more complex estates involved. And this leads to larger and more complex divorces. So the more assets are involved, the more complicated the division is between premarital property and marital property, the more expensive and longer the divorce is going to be. So a prenuptial agreement can solve this problem and simplify the divorce by saying, all right, here's the assets I have now, and these are going to be mine if we get divorced. Anything after this, we're going to split and call it marital property. So you want to think of prenups as, again, like insurance. It's not saying we're going to get divorced. It's not saying I don't love you. It's not saying I don't think we're going to work out. It's a pragmatic solution for a problem that will probably never arise, just like a house fire. If it does, though, you're going to be glad you have one and you'll be protected. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comments section below this post at learn-about-law.com or below our YouTube video on our YouTube station. If you found this helpful, please subscribe on YouTube, iTunes, or SoundCloud, and you'll be notified when we post new content that you might find interesting. We usually post an article and a video every day. If you need our help or would like to put together a prenup, feel free to give us a call at 630-324-6666. That's 630-324-6666. We offer free consultations, and we have offices all around Chicagoland for your convenience. Thank you so much for listening.
Thanks so much for watching our video. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below. Click the subscribe button for new videos every week, and download and review us on iTunes. Visit learn-about-law.com for other legal-related articles and videos. Visit our business podcast and video blog, seizeyourbusiness.com, and visit Making Real Estate Fun for real estate videos and podcasts. Call us at 630-324-6666 for a free consultation.